got this next game up here that did not quite do it. Yes, they got the win, but it took a while, and this is why we truly can't be afraid of this team. I'm afraid of Kevin Durant. Yes, that is really, Kevin Durant is one of the best shooters of all time, folks, and once again, why the Nets won last night is because Kevin Durant was demanding and commanding the ball in the second half and just doing his thing, demanding the ball, shooting the shots, the threes, the mid-range jumpers, and for the most part falling. I do want to talk about the clutch ability of Kevin Durant because it seems like it's gotten worse this season, where Kevin Durant and clutch, they always went together. But over the last few games here, in game-tying kind of scenarios, fourth quarter down, trying to take a lead, his three-point shots have been a little off. So I want to kind of explore that a little bit as well. But let's get back to the main subject here. Nets at the Knicks. Doesn't matter. They both, MSG. But overall, or no, they're not. They do have different stadiums. I'm bugging. I shouldn't have said that. What am I saying? Madison Square Garden, Barclays Center. Not the same. What am I talking about? Either way, New York. That's what it is. But either way, Nets at the Knicks last night, and they went toe-to-toe for the entire game. The Nets were down like 9 points going into halftime. Or no, 15. What's it, 15? I don't think they came back. Yeah, it was like 15 points. They were down 15 at half, folks. It was not looking good for this Nets team going into halftime. Went to the fourth quarter, able to get that lead because Kevin Durant is still lethal, folks. Once again, I'm not scared of the Nets team overall. Kevin Durant does Kevin Durant things. He will always do Kevin Durant things. So for that part, yes, I'm scared of Kevin Durant, but I'm not scared of this Nets team overall. I'm not scared of the dynamic between Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I'm not scared of their supporting cast. I'm not scared of their bench, and I'm definitely not scared of their head coach and coming up with any kind of smart, good adjustments that is going to help out the team if they're down or, down in the series, down in the game, whatever it is. The only way that they can overcome a deficit in a game or in a series is letting Kevin Durant demand and command the ball. And that's what we've seen a couple of times. I want to say 2 games out of maybe the last 4 or 5 where Kevin Durant in the Nets down going into halftime, and then Kevin Durant gets on his bullshit and goes crazy, shot, make, and then they're back in the game, taking the lead and closing it out in the fourth quarter, because that's what Kevin Durant is. We can respect Kevin Durant's greatness, absolutely. Kevin Durant is greatness. He's greatness personified. Obviously, his leadership qualities, some of his personality traits don't rub us the right way, but pure basketball, yeah, the man gets it done. So absolutely, we can respect Kevin Durant for that, absolutely. But Nets going close with the Knicks, going close. All their games have been going close as of recently. The best teams in the league going close, the worst teams in the league going close. The Knicks don't even have anything to play for. They had nothing to play for and still brought it a little bit here. Knicks still, once again, couldn't close out in the fourth quarter, which has been their biggest problem all year long. You put up 16 points in the fourth quarter. You put up 15 points in the third quarter. You put up 30 points in total for the second half, where the Nets alone put up 38 points in the fourth quarter alone. So, this is just Knicks being Knicks last night, not being able to close out in the fourth quarter. And once again, you want to bring back Tom Thibodeau? That's kind of the early reports that we're hearing. How can you bring back Tom Thibodeau? This man has not closed out a game in the fourth quarter all year long, and that's what he is. He's a defensive-minded coach. Folks, we don't talk about, y'all know our perspective of coaches, head coaches in the NFL. Do it in the NBA as well. Why are we having Tom Thibodeau, who loves defense, and then your team can't close out defensively in the second half? What are we doing? That's what you want to have another year of in New York? After you already saw a huge decline from 2020 to 2021? Or 2021 to 2022? If you thought the decline from 2021 to 2022 was bad, wait for the decline of 2022 to 2023. You're like the 11th seed at the moment. You're going to be like the 15th seed next year. That's the worst seed. So, Nets going close to the Knicks, going close as of recently, and this is why we can't be afraid of them in the playoffs, because it's a 7-game series. If they're going toe-to-toe, neck and neck, down to the wire every single game for a 7-game series, how long are they going to be able to keep up that endurance? I know Kevin Durant's got some great endurance, absolutely, but the role players that you desperately need to rely on, that's why we can't be scared of the Nets. They're not going to have that longevity in the playoffs. Yeah, they may win the first round, and they still have to get it out. They still have to get out of the play-in tournament. I mean, they're going to be playing basketball from the regular season all the way throughout. There's no first round buys. You're in the play-in tournament, so you don't get that kind of, I think it's like a 3 to 4 day window off for the playoff teams that have secured a playoff spot. So while the play-in tournament is going on, you've got a couple of extra days to rest. Number 1 seeds, the Suns just rested all of their starters last night. And I mean, I wouldn't even blame them. I would kind of green light the Suns to rest their entire team for the rest of the regular season. You already wrapped up the number 1 seed. You've got nothing left to prove. You still want to kind of keep up some type of rhythm and momentum and endurance. So maybe just kind of start your starters for the first quarter for the remainder of these games and then sit them for the rest. But overall, the Suns are going to be well rested, where the Nets and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are going down to the wire every single game. Must kind of show out every single game. Kevin Durant's going to have to shoot 60% in the second half every single game if they're going to just want to win and be competitive in those games. So the longevity factor truly is the reason why we cannot be scared of this Nets team, folks. Nets get the win 110-98. Last night, we had Kevin Durant, 32 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds, most of that coming in the second half. And Kevin Durant shot 2 of 10 from the 3. And once again, this is what I'm saying, the clutch ability by Kevin Durant, we need it to be here. That non-clutch ability by Kevin Durant hurt them last year in the playoffs. And once again, it was still a clutch shot, but at the end of the day, it was a 2-pointer, not a 3-pointer, going back to last season against the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Kevin Durant, I mean, it was a good shot. It went down, but it wasn't a 3, so I guess we can't. It was clutch for what it was, but it could have been better. And we've seen Kevin Durant not be clutch. We saw that against the Bucks a few nights ago, not being able to shoot well in the fourth quarter. Once again, the final 2 minutes, 30 seconds, everybody missing shots on the Nets allowed the Bucks to come back and go into overtime and win the game. So I want to go to the second half here of Kevin Durant's 3-point shots. Here we go, shot plot. I mean, here they are, and they're all kind of straight away. I mean, these are all kind of straight away threes right here, and he's just missing them. He shot 8 of 15 in the second half. A lot of mid-range jumpers. Those were, once again, the only ones that fell. We told y'all 2 of 10 from the 3 overall in the game here. But the clutch ability of Kevin Durant mixed with the endurance of the Nets, that's why we cannot be afraid and fear this Nets team. I'm not fearing them, folks. I'm not fearing them. And I'm not knocking Kevin Durant. This was no way, shape, or form a knock on Kevin Durant. He's fantastic. Clutch ability, folks. I mean, y'all love to hammer LeBron James on clutch ability when he misses one clutch shot, and erase all of his past. So let's keep that same energy on Kevin Durant. When was the last time Kevin Durant hit a meaningful clutch shot that ended up impacting the rest of the year or the rest of the season? It's been a few years. The last one that just comes to mind is him over LeBron, which is one of the clutchest shots in NBA history. He's got that. That's a huge accolade. I'm not knocking Kevin Durant, folks. He's a great talent. I get it. But at this current moment, right now, once again, those what are we classifying them as? The recertifications. Let's have a re-clutch certification on Kevin Durant. It's easy to say, yes, he's clutch, yes, he's great, yes, because he's already proven it in his career. But when was the last time recertify some of our takes, recertify some of our GOAT passes, great passes that we hand out to players? I think Kevin Durant, clutch-wise 3, and let me kind of specify it even more fine-tuned in detail, 3-point clutch ability, because that mid-range shot, I mean, that's money all day. That elbow jumper, wing jumper, 2-3 steps inside the 3-point line. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that is lethal as heck. But that 3-point clutch ability, it's gonna need to be there. They had to come back down from 15. They weren't doing that all from the mid-range. A lot of threes. Patty Mills was even hitting threes last night. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. My jaw was on the floor. I was like, Patty, this is what you can do, Patty Mills? And you're waiting now? Oh, you're waiting until now to pull out all your bag of tricks? The man shot 5 of 7 from 3 and was going absolutely manic last night. This may have been Patty Mills' best game as a net this season. So we'll see how this Nets team fares in the playoffs. I'm not really giving them any real chance to go deep into the playoffs. Yes, they may win the first round. I don't even know, because they're only getting a 7th or 8th seed. So they're going to have to face the Heat or the Celtics round 1. They may get bounced round 1, folks. They may. I don't know if I want to face this Heat team. This Heat team can lock up defensively, and we know the Nets play no defense. The Celtics, I don't even know if we can really be worried that the Celtics don't have Robert Williams. The Nets don't have any good bigs either. So unless Kevin Durant plays the 5, which he is capable of doing, Kevin Durant can play the 5. We saw that against Giannis and the Bucks last season in the playoffs. They kind of kept Kevin Durant down low to try and match up with Giannis as best they could, and it kind of worked a little bit. So unless Kevin Durant is just going, and that would be interesting. And that's what I'm saying. We need some experimentation on this Nets team. Kyrie Irving can be a point guard. He just doesn't want to. Anywhere he goes, he's not trying to be the point guard. But if you run Kyrie at the 1 and Kevin Durant at the 5, I think that could be interesting for some spurts in games and in playoff series. But we know Steve Nash will never do that, because Steve Nash would have to kind of, put his foot down with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and he won't do that because we know he's not the leader, he's not the commander, he's not the head coach that he thinks he is. So this Nets team, they're going to have to kind of pull out all the stops if they want to win the ring this year, and I'm just not seeing them doing that, folks. So they get the win last night, but it was against the Knicks, and it went down to the wire, folks. It's not good. So here we go. Kevin Durant, 32 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds. Fantastic. Shooting in the second half, absolutely fantastic. Kyrie Irving, 24 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, but he shot 3 of 12 from the 3, 34% on 26 shots. So once again, why is Kyrie Irving taking more shots than Kevin Durant? This is what we want. Kyrie Irving wants to be the number 1, and Chris Broussard put it so absolutely magnificent today. Let me see if I can bring up his quote quickly. What is he on? First things first, correct? Let me bring up right here. First things first, because he literally put it fantastic. Like, why is Kyrie Irving taking these shots? He's not as good as a shooter as Kevin Durant is. He's a good scorer. He can get to the bucket. Absolutely. But this is what Chris Broussard said today, and this quote truly sums it up magnificently right here. He says, quote, "My problem with the Nets is their Batman has a Robin mentality and their Robin has a Batman mentality. Kevin Durant, he is the Batman on this Nets team. There is no debate. Kevin Durant is the 1. Kyrie Irving is the 2. There is no debate. Kyrie Irving can never be a 1. He's just not a 1. He's not 1 material. He's fantastic. He may be the best 2 in the league. You can make the argument, absolutely. But Kyrie Irving, he wants to be the number 1. He wants to be Batman wherever he goes, even playing with LeBron James. That's kind of why he stopped playing with LeBron James, because LeBron, wherever he goes, he's going to be the 1. There is no debate there. LeBron will always be the 1. And Kyrie Irving doesn't play that game. He's like, I want the 1. And he had a big shot over Steph Curry in the finals that got Cleveland the ring. And he is still a 2. I still don't even want him a 1 in this league. He's fantastic as a 2, but he thinks he's a 1. 26 shots last night. Why? 34% shooting. Why are you taking away shots from Kevin Durant? What are we doing? You rely on Kevin Durant. You're supposed to be the assister to Kevin Durant. Why does Kevin Durant have more assists than Kyrie Irving? You know what I mean? Kyrie Irving cannot stand to pass the ball. He's good at it, and he will do it, but he hates doing it. That's why he anointed James Harden the point guard the very first game together this season. He's the point guard. No. He's the point guard. I'm not playing the 1. I'm not doing it. And then for Kevin Durant, the Batman having a Robin mentality, because Kevin Durant is just loosey-goosey. And that's kind of what I like about his personality. He's like, I don't need to be the leader. I can be the leader, but I don't need to. And Kevin Durant, he kind of needs somebody to kind of call him the leader. He's not going to assume leadership kind of role because he plays loosey-goosey. He's free-flowing. He's an easy breezy guy. He doesn't need to kind of demand and kind of be the boss and point fingers. He's always assuming that you're going to do your job. So yeah, you don't need to be a leader when you're just assuming everybody's going to do their job. But you kind of do. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is. I mean, that's what sales is. Forcing somebody, talking them into buying it. Whether they want to buy something or not, you have to talk them into it. That's why I don't like sales. That's why, the whole, marketing. I mean, I could push this show down your throat, folks, but that's not kind of my personality to do so. And I know that's how I would get more views and in turn revenue for the show if I pushed and 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 pushed, because that's, the job of the leader, the job of the salesman, to say the obvious, to state the obvious. That's not my thing. I don't like to state the obvious. Kevin Durant doesn't like to state the obvious. That's what leadership is, though. Stating the obvious. I can be a leader, absolutely. I can be a leader whenever I want. It's just like, we're all people, though. Like, and I get the overall role of a leader, the boss, the manager. That's stating the obvious. Stating the obvious. Somebody's got to state the obvious. That's why the Bystander Effect, folks, you ever heard of it? Where if somebody was dying on the floor and there was a group of people around to witness it, somebody's got to take charge, because we all know somebody should be calling the police, but everybody internally is thinking, should I be that person? Oh, somebody else will take care of it. That's kind of, what separates the leaders from the non-leaders. The people that go out and take charge. I believe we're all capable of taking charge, and Kevin Durant seems like the person that is capable of taking charge. He just doesn't, because he knows, hey, why it is kind of nuanced, folks, and stick with me here. But Kevin Durant, in his mind, is like, we're all just people. We're all the same. Why do I need to kind of control all these people? He feels like if he says something, if he kind of starts like demanding and commanding on the floor vocally, that it's not going to get the best out of his other teammates and things like that. So maybe a little bit of an overthinking process. I think I do the same thing. Yes, I am comparing myself intellectually to Kevin Durant. Okay. If I can read Kevin Durant correctly, which I think I can, I think that's his overall thinking. Hey, I can be the leader when I need to. If nobody's going to step up, I'm going to have enough at some point, a la him taking control in the second half of games. Hey, all right, let's see how it goes in the first half. I'm trying to pass the 11 assists. Hey, I don't need to kind of, start taking all these shots here. We're going to get it done as a team, because we all know as a team we need to get it done. And I'm trusting everybody, non-verbally though, but I'm just trusting all these guys on the team to go and get it done. I'm expecting they will try their best to get it done and make their shots. But I'm not going to kind of be that vocal leader right off the rip, because he doesn't feel like he has to do that. So just different types of personalities, folks. That's really all it is. So Kevin Durant, he can be the leader. He can be the Batman whenever he needs to. But if he doesn't need to, he's not going to. So Kevin Durant, Batman with a Robin mentality. Kyrie Irving, a Robin with a Batman mentality. You got the wrong guys with the wrong mentality. That's all there is to it. So, Kevin Durant, fantastic. Why is Kyrie Irving taking more shots, less efficient? Because he's got the Batman mentality. Kevin Durant, I know this is, not what you are used to, but you need to have that Batman mentality. Now, Kevin Durant, I mean, Should we keep going with this? I mean, Kevin Durant, his overall personality, he gets rubbed the wrong way. He wants, 100% respect 100% of the time, but you're not going to get that unless you demand and command it, and that's part of Batman mentality. Kevin Durant just not showing it. He gets upset at Twitter people calling him out. He's a millionaire. He's one of the greatest shooters in the league history, but he still gets his feelings hurt by people that, talk about him. Random people in the media. He gets his feelings hurt. But you can't. You're putting yourselves out there. You're a celebrity. You're a professional athlete. You need to be open to criticism. If you put yourself out there, you must be open to criticism. Me including. I'm putting myself out here. I'm starting a show. I'm here talking sports every single day because I think I know what I'm talking about. I have to accept your criticism. Good, bad, ugly, really ugly. Saying I have, I should be playing G.I. Jane 2? I can't slap y'all for that. I'm putting myself out there. I think I know what I'm talking about. I'm here every day. I have to accept the criticism, good, bad, or the ugly, the really ugly, the nasty, the digs, the unsmurfiness. We try to keep it smurfy over here. Try to. I think I am Smurfy, but sometimes the Smurfiness maybe gets lost on y'all. I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit later in NFL stories, but overall, folks, Kevin Durant, you've got to be that leader. You got to start demanding on floor, showing that leadership. You have to show it, Kevin Durant, or nobody, or everybody's gonna keep, talking about you the way you are, and you keep getting your feelings hurt, which is definitely not Batman mentality at all. So, Kevin Durant, fantastic basketball player, absolutely, but he does not have the Batman mentality. He's capable of it. I know Kevin Durant is capable of the Batman mentality. I believe his overall thinking, once again, maybe overthinking the entire situation, overanalyzing, I get it, but he feels like, I don't need to vocalize this because we're all just going to come in and do what we need to do. He doesn't feel like he has to kind of be the guy to point out the obvious, to state the obvious. That's how I feel about it, folks. That's what coaches are, stating the obvious. You ever hear a coach's huddle? I mean, in the in-game huddles, they have it on, ESPN when they're playing the game. What do they call it? They may even call it like inside the huddle. When they're listening to the coach. Hey, get it done. Let's keep the movement. Let's keep the ball passing. Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah. But you have to state the obvious. That's what leaderships do. That's what leaders do. You state the obvious. You make sure everybody's on the same page because, mentally you think everybody's on the same page. But what separates the people, the leaders from the followers, the person that goes out and states the obvious. It's all it is, folks. That's really all leadership is. Stating the obvious. Stating the obvious. Making sure everybody's on the same page. We're all thinking we're on the same page, but let me vocalize these words to truly make sure we're all on the same page. Page 1. You're looking at page 2. No. We're all on page 1 still. No. You think we're all on page 2? You think we're all on page 1? That's why we need the leader to say, hey, we're on page 1. Yes? All right, now we're all on page 1. Now we can go out there and play. So, I think that made sense. That makes sense to me. I hope I expressed that enough so you can make the connections. But that's how I feel about it. So, that's Kevin Durant and the Nets, folks. All right. So, Kyrie Irving, 24 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, but he shot 34%. Come on. And then let's shout out, before we move off of this one, Patty Mills, once again, 15 points, 5 of 7 from the 3, a huge reason. I mean, he was a plus 21 on the floor, folks, in 23 minutes. The highest plus-minus on the floor for the Nets last night. Absolutely fantastic. So, Patty Mills finally having his great game. And if Patty Mills could play like this all season, if Patty Mills was playing like this all season, yes, okay, now I can understand a little bit of an afraidness, a little bit of a fear for the Nets overall. I could understand it. But Patty Mills has played like this maybe twice all year long, so there's no consistency here. We're not banking on Patty Mills ever doing this again for the rest of the season. So it took it all to win this game against the Knicks, folks. Not good. No Julius Randle for the Knicks either last night. The starting five played pretty good besides Evan Fournier. Defensively, he was okay, but overall, Evan Fournier, 8 points actually. 8 points on 2 of 7 from the three and 33% on 9 shots. Everybody else in the starting lineup, 10 or more points. Alec Burks, 24 points. Jericho Sims getting in the starting lineup, which we do like. Jericho Sims, folks, I like the man, folks. He's surprising. He's a young kid. I think he's a rookie. But the man's been playing pretty solid basketball whenever his number gets called. And he was in the starting lineup last night, 10 points, 13 rebounds. Obi Toppin, 19 points. Love seeing him in the starting lineup. No Julius Randle, so that's why. But he plays very, very well. Good defense, good size, good all-around game. And then RJ Barrett doing his thing, 23 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. He didn't shoot well, 25% on 27 shots, 2 of 11 from the three, but 23 points, scoring production, somebody putting up points because we can't rely on Evan Fournier to put up any points. Off the bench, everything was absolutely abysmal last night, and they only rocked with 3 guys. So Knicks, they can't get it done. They were competitive in the first half, but in classic Knicks fashion, they beef it in the second. Nets get the win, 110-98.